So our new anime starts from a stormy night when our beautiful little princess was just born. The queen named her Athanasia, meaning eternal, but unfortunately Princess was born without magic. So the queen asked Athi to stay strong and look after her father from now on, and saying so, she took her last breath and died. The news of her passing quickly reached the king, and he immediately ordered to burn down everything that belonged to Queen Diana and issued the order to never let the child come into his sight. It was well known that the king never liked Queen Diana, but it shows the princess will have no power or meaning in the castle, so the maids never cared for her even a little. But the strings of fate clashed and brought Athi to a place where someone kept calling to Athanasia. The place was in the sky where a huge book was inside of a crystal. Little princess thought of it as a food at first, but then the crystal began to crack and the book came out. It looked like a gorgeous storybook and it revealed all the future Athanasia will have to face, finding the love of her father. Princess Athanasia learned the black magic because she was magic-less, and as a result, the king himself ordered to lock her up in a tower for all eternity, where she died without being known to the world all alone. But there was one person who always kept comforting her. It was Lily. She was a count's daughter and her mother's friend, so she left her title as nobility to raise Athanasia. She was a kind soul. But Athi knew even she won't believe if she tells her about the future, because who would believe on a baby? After that, Lily taught her that everyone can use magic in this kingdom because the center of all magic is the magic tower where a powerful wizard lives. Rumors say he's overpowered, but there is another person who has amazing magic, and that's her father. But Athi saw nothing amazing in him because he's a tyrant and nothing else. It irritated her so much that she couldn't sleep that day because her fate was so terrible. Then a few years passed and Ruby Palace had become so lively all thanks to Princess Athi. Many new recruits come just to catch a glimpse of the princess because she's too adorable. I mean, she really did grow up so finely and she always stays friendly with everyone. She even helps everyone out on occasion with their duties. Her cuteness can charm anyone and the maids had her ready since she wanted to go out. But she found a maid sniffing around the castle looking for treasure, and unfortunately for her, there was nothing of the sort in here. So Athi came to say hello and she thought Athi was a kid of gardener, so she asked her about shiny things. Athi brought her to food storage since they also looked shiny, but she meant gold and antiques. If that's the case, then Athi said she won't find anything because the king got rid of it a long time ago, and she felt disappointed for wasting so much time taking her around. But in the kitchen they can find some. Those tablewares and plates hold gems in it, so Athi went to Miss May to ask for chocolate. But Kasha interrupted because Lily forbids letting her eat too much sweet, but Athi used her formidable charms to seduce the ladies into getting the whole plate. That thief got impressed, and later on she came to the kitchen to get all the gold and silver tablewares. But just as she gathered all the gems, Athi snuck all of it away for herself. Now that made her go crazy and she was about to kill her for this. But Athi played innocent little kid to lure her into right where she could drop that ceiling in her head. This caused an uproar that a thief tried to harm the princess, but Athi was calm as nothing happened. In fact, she was happy that she caught that thief herself because in her prophetic dream she had seen Lily's death by that thief's hand. Athi was preparing to run away from here before meeting her father for the first time. And the king, he heard about the event that took place, but he coldly shrugged it off as nothing significant. And why would he even care? He didn't even spare a glance when she was born, and in the near future, Athi would have bought up all alone. Yet when she first saw her father at the age of 9, she was enticed to earn his love as that man was her only family. But her feelings were shattered when the king revealed he had another daughter named Jeanette. Athi didn't wish for that sort of ending in her life and was planning to prevent it anyhow. But the next day she saw there was an increase in the number of guards in the palace after that incident, so she can't gather up her funds this way. Athi has always shown interest in gold, so Lily had provided her with all sorts of golden toys, but right now she again seduced the ladies to get that chocolate, but not for eating but to get the gems engraved on these things. Her first encounter with her father would be when she turns 9, so before that, Athi plans to secure enough funds and run away. Then as she was washing her hands in the pond she saw her face and remembered everyone says she looks just like her mother except for her eyes. This jewel-like eyes comes from her father and that's the proof that she's a royal blood. But there's another princess beside her who has the same blue jewel-like eyes. But she didn't care. All she wants is to run away from this mess and save her life. But while burying her treasure she got lost and ended up in a different castle. It was huge and more so not even a single person was here. But she got hungry and decided to come back. At that time maids were talking about how the king ordered an inspection to make the ruby palace safe. And Athie got worried that her treasure might have been discovered. Thankfully it was safe, so she decided to take it and hide them away to a safe place. She somehow snuck out of the ruby palace and saw a squirrel was stealing away her buried treasure number 1, so she gave a peanut to take it back. It showed that burying it in the ground is unsafe. So she thought of hiding it away in that abandoned castle. Everything there was exquisite, and outside she saw many statues made out of pure gold. Princess thought she hit the jackpot and tried to test its authenticity. But unfortunately she ran into that one person she had wished of avoiding at all costs. It made her blood pressure rise. But the king saw the striking resemblance of that woman into this child. It made him realize she's his own daughter, and he remembers that woman named her Athanasia. Athie remembers the day when the king gave her cold solder and walked away from her. So why was he being so affectionate all of a sudden? That was a confusing part in this scenario, so she tried to run away, but he caught her and her treasure fell down. Then the king brought her to the room to have a cup of tea, but Athie was nervous. Noticing that the red hair said that children gets nervous in the presence of unknown people, so the king told him to get out. Well, Athie and he are father and daughter, so he's the unknown guy here, but it made her even more worried. Then the king asked Athie if she truly knows the meaning behind her name. It means eternal, but it's also the name only the rightful heir to the throne can obtain. Even he wasn't granted that name because he wasn't the queen's son, which means an illegitimate kid, yet he tore through everyone and stole the throne for himself. Recalling that she attempted to act calm and eat, and watching her table manners, he asked who taught her, and Athie said Lily. King remembers only 2 women had walked away alive after blocking his path. The first one was Diana and the second was Lily. She had begged to look after Athie in the past. Then he asked Athie if she knew about him, and she instinctively said he was her father. Athie was scared again, but nothing happened. In fact, the red hair brought her back to Ruby Palace, and seeing him the maids gave him the 3rd degree with their glances. But he told them the king wants to meet the princess again. So Athanasia had no choice but to visit the main castle even though she didn't want to. Claude saw Lillian again after a long time and apologized for not being able to look after his daughter due to work. But he thanked her for raising Athanasia with love and care. Anyways, Claude had heard about the thief incident, so he wanted to make extra arrangements for the princess's safety. Talking about that, they went out for some tea in the garden. And poor Athie was crying inside while keeping a smile on her face. Many sweets and tea were served there, and Athie tried hard not to fall for such a bribe. But sadly Claude was watching closely and she couldn't resist. And with just 1 spoon of cake she got sold out. Felix and Lily were happy to see both of them finally sharing a pleasant moment. And now Claude decided to have tea with Athie every day. Everything was straying from the original future, so Athie tried to adapt. But unfortunately, she failed every time, yet still Claude never scolded or criticized her. Then as time passed, Athie began to fear her father less and less. And soon she heard about a lake behind the main castle, and that very day Claude planned to visit there with her. Upon meeting, she complimented Claude, which made everyone nervous, but he didn't react. Then she began roaming around freely like a warm breeze through the flower garden and admired the stunning view of the lake. There Claude had even arranged a boat ride for them. So Lily got worried, but Felix reassured her not to since Claude was with Athie, although the way he picked her up was quite the opposite of gentleness. Well, after that, Claude used his magic to keep the boat moving, and Athie couldn't help but compliment him again while watching his honey blonde hair shine. Time was flowing by so beautifully when she noticed a gorgeous lotus with a light blue hue passing by. But the scent it released made her dizzy enough that she leaned too far to pick it and fell into the water. The weeds tangled around her legs and she started sinking deeper. She lost all hope because she believed Claude never cared about her, so why would he come rescue her? But he did. He dove in and saved Athie and brought her out safely. His intense gaze frightened her again, but then Claude calmly asked Felix to teach his daughter how to swim. The way he described Athie showed he truly saw her as his own daughter. And after that incident, Athie was forbidden to leave her bed until she fully recovered. Lily told her that the flower she picked was magical and causes hallucinations, so Athie wondered why they kept something so dangerous. But there was a deep reason why Claude still preserved it despite knowing its power. It was the only thing that allowed him to see his beloved wife, Diana. It seems there's a reason he suppresses his emotions. And Felix prayed to the gods to free Claude from his suffering. Then the next day Felix came with several maids as he had been ordered by Claude to serve Athie. And at night, Athie dreamed of Diana calling out to her, but it almost woke him. In panic she began singing a lullaby, and it was cute in its own way yet funny too. since it's rare to see. Athy tried to break the silence by saying the castle looked extravagant with many antiques, so Claude told her to explore as much as she wanted and then left for a meeting with Duke Alpheus, taking the opportunity. There she found a portrait with Diana's name on it, but at the same time 3 noble women were gossiping cruelly about Diana, because she was a dancer before marrying the king, so she sang a lullaby for herself and fell asleep. The next day, she met Claude again, who had already prepared tea and sweets for her. Turned tense because this tea came from Diana's homeland and she used to say the exact same thing about it. Claude got furious and dismissed everyone, but he wouldn't meet her anymore, which made her very sad. Seeing her like that, Lily and Felix discussed what to do. Naturally, Athy would want to know more about her mother, but since everything related to her had been burned, she didn't even know what Diana looked like, so Felix suggested asking Claude to show her with magic. But Athy refused to take a walk with him. He led her to the main castle and explained that the palace was protected by her in his life, but this leaves so many.
Now Claude woke up from his nap, and Felix came and said Duke Alpheus has come to meet him. His mood got nasty immediately hearing that name, but for the sake of formality, he had to meet him. So, that Duke came to meet Claude to advise him to select a childhood companion for Princess. And he nominates his son, who is 3 years older and is already smart in many fields. Athy also came and saw this man is the one who had nurtured Princess Jeanette in secret and brought him over one day to raise his status. So Athy wanted to kick him out. The Duke was trying his best to convince Claude, but when Athy came, Claude called her up to let her sit on his lap. It showed he loves her dearly, and Duke was trying his best to solidify his position through Athy right now. But Athy said she had learned sociology, history, and maths, so she doesn't want a companion dumber than her. But Duke said she doesn't know magic, and tried to take advantage of that. But Claude never cared and sends him off. Being unable to do magic cast a shadow in her heart. So Athy was trying her best to learn magic in secret. She brought a magic appraiser to the woods to see if she got any magic in her, but sadly it only moved due to winds and nothing else. But her mother was a dancer who used magic to dance, and Claude is a man-ace in magic. So she wonders why she didn't inherit her parents' traits. At that time, Lily went to the market to buy the best groceries for Athy, and people began to hear that Claude loves his daughter and is never latent in her nurturing. If so, then people got sure that Athy would become the next ruler. But there a mystery man saw Lily was supposed to be dead, and yet she was here and wondered who rewrote her fate. After that, some time passed, and Athy was growing up wonderfully. She started studying many different things like poetry and all. And their Duke again came back with the same request he had before. But this time, he said he wants Jeanette to be her friend. Duke said he's looking after her from childhood, and she had received advanced education from an early age, like laws and other things, but Athy knew old man is scheming again. So she again told Duke Alpheus that she already know all that. Then she asked if Jeanette knows the poetry of this famous writers. But Athy still handed him the book to pass it on to Jeanette and pats Duke Alpheus. It was one way to insult someone with love, so after that, Athy grabbed the book of magic from Claude to read it. She went to woods again, but her mood was spoiled because of Duke. But she tried to refresh it reading a magic book. She tried to find a way to awaken her magic and found a spell. So she gave it a try, and suddenly the book went off flying to a man. That man finally found the one who changed the fate, but it was just a kid, so he thought he's wrong. There Felix came there finding Athy, but the man used a magic spell to send him off. In the end, before leaving, he told Athy not to cast that spell because it's annoyingly dangerous. Like that, the day passed, and when she returned by the end of the day, she told Felix that a mystery man had shown up in the woods and he did something to him. Felix didn't believe in her, so she went off. After that, he goes to Claude and thought he should also convince Claude to let Athy have friends. But he didn't mean it should be the brat of that Duke, just someone of the same age as Athy with whom she could play and open up. But Claude saw that a bunch of adults can't even take care of a child, so the discussion ended there. And the next day, Athy shows up exactly on time each day for morning tea. She said she loves Claude, but he knew Athy shows up to eat cake. So instantly, the whole menu came to the table. And Claude remembered yesterday's discussion, so he asked Athy if she needed friends, which surprised her, but Athy said she's happy having him Lily and Felix with cakes. So she doesn't need any, Athie already had a burden of changing her fate, and on top of that, a new guy had shown up. He did say not to cast that spell because it's dangerous, but so far that was the only spell Athie was able to activate since she was magic-less. At the same time, that dude was trying to find the one who twisted the fate, and knew he was hiding in the royal castle. So while he was on his search, Athie activated that spell again, and this time she completed it. But surprisingly, nothing happened, and only after that the dude showed up. The last time he didn't notice the Athie was of royal blood, but now that he did, he thought he was the daughter of Kalian. That emperor was from 400 years in the past. So Athie told him Claude is the current king. That was a surprise, but what was more interesting was to find a royal blood with no magic. He was able to see through Athie and tried to make her spill the beans on her secret. But suddenly a black cloud appeared to aid her and went off instantly from fear of Lucas. So Athie used a random wind spell, and it worked, and she ran off. Lucas got interested in the magic of little princess and knew something would happen to her, so he left her alone for now. And just as Athie got back to Claude, she started spitting blood.